happy to see me. I think I'm the last speaker, so that's always a good thing. Let me congratulate Andy and Joe and Larry, most deserving people. Great job tonight. I want to thank the staff here at the Marriott. Great evening. The servers, the cooks, wonderful meal. I know they never get much adulation, but it's good to congratulate those people. Thank you, Bob Reeser, for nominating me, an old friend, an old coach, an adversary at Montevallo. And I want to thank the committee for choosing me. I remember when Bob told me he was going to nominate me for the Hall of Fame, I was like, you're kidding, right? I really had no idea what he meant. And then a few weeks later, they called and said that you were in the Alabama Coaches Hall of Fame. And I think I cried for a couple of minutes. And it was very touching. It was very nice. So, you know, when you're voted into something by your peers, I mean, it's just an amazing feeling. I'm just excited. I'm thrilled with it. I'm very humble. You know, it's just something I never thought of when I was young growing up. You know, I grew up on a farm in Illinois, and I was one of 8 kids, and I was playing baseball, throwing the rubber ball against the barn, and my brother was playing catch with me, and I never thought that this type of thing could happen to me. And it's, you know, it's a very wonderful experience. And I want to recognize some of the people that are here. My brother Kenny and his wife Chris, my sister Nancy and her husband Calvin, and my niece Christy. They all came in from Illinois to see me tonight, which is great. They were very instrumental in my life, and you know, I couldn't have done what I've done without them. To my family, I have 2 of my children here tonight. My son Drew, who played for Andy, had a nice run in high school. I think he was state champions twice, runners up once, and semifinals the other year. I don't know what happened that game. But that was a pretty good run. And my daughter Kelsey, well, Drew's here with his wife Caitlin. They live in Oregon. Drew is a pilot for Alaska Airlines. Very proud of that. And they live in Bend, Oregon now. Don't get to see them very much. And then my daughter Kelsey and her husband Tyler are here. She's a nurse at Providence Hospital. You may not want to see her in the emergency room, but if you do, she'll take care of you pretty well. My other daughter Sarah is in Germany. She is married to an Army guy that, you know, he's stationed there right now, and he is in Special Forces. And he's going to be a 20-year guy. In about 7 years, he's been to Iraq and Afghanistan a couple times. Great guy. And they also have my 2 grandchildren there. Olivia is 16 months old, and Connor is 5 weeks old. So we were over there at Christmas time, seeing them. And then my youngest son, Brian, who graduated and played for me a couple of years ago, he is in the Army himself right now, basic training. I'm sure he's enjoying it in Jackson, South Carolina. So he actually told us he liked basic training. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he's a good kid. I was fortunate enough that both Drew and Brian got to play for me, and I was very lucky that they were talented enough. I didn't have too many parents saying, well, he's playing for he's coach's son. You know how that goes. But they did a great job, and all 4 of those kids have graduated from Spring Hill, and very proud of that. And you know, I can't say they're just great kids. But to really get to the nuts and bolts of our family would be my wife Dana. She has been the rock of our family. I know the days. I think we had 4 kids and 8 and under, and there were days that I was off recruiting or I was off on a 3-game set on a weekend, and she's got the kids all by herself. So, in my opinion, she's the one who should be in the Hall of Fame for a mom and a wife. She's done a wonderful job. I couldn't have done it without her. She's always been there for me. And you know, I remember one time we came home. I was on an athletic director's meeting out in Las Vegas, and I walked in, and all 5 of them had the flu. They were laid out on the floor like they thought it was. I mean, it was awful. You know, so she just said, I'm going to bed, you got the rest, you got all 4 of them. So it's, you know, that kind of thing is, you know, the wives do such a great job with the coaches, because the coaches are really absorbed in the game sometimes. And I know when I was younger, I was probably too absorbed once in a while. But it's great to have someone you can talk to and understand, and I assure you I couldn't have done this without her. So now the ones that really, and Andy talked about it, and Larry talked about it, are those guys back there. They're the ones that are responsible for me being up here. You're only as good as your players, and every coach knows that. I mean, yeah, you can be a great coach and you can get the best out of your players, but you still have to have some ability, you have to have some talent, you have to have some work ethic. And I've been very fortunate at Spring Hill College to have that. Now, we're not perfect, I assure you. We're a small Jesuit school in Mobile, and if those of you who don't know what Jesuit is, it's part of the Catholic order. I think they have Jesuits and Franciscans and Dominicans and Benedictines, and that's sort of the order of the Catholic Church.
I think I need to
So,
help him with
you know, that's, the Jesuits are the ones who are the educators, okay, and service for others. And I had no idea when I got there. I'm not Catholic, so it was quite an ordeal to learn all this stuff. All right, but I've always had great kids. I'm so blessed just to have this group, about 25 or 30 guys here tonight, and you know, for a long time at Spring Hill, when I started in 1985, you know, we didn't have assistant coaches. We might have had a graduate assistant once in a while, and I really didn't get an assistant coach, full-time assistant coach, till what was it, 5-6 years ago. Michael Boucher is here. He was my first coach, and now Andy McCall is my assistant coach now, and they both do. Michael did a great job, and Andy's doing a wonderful job. I told him when he became my assistant coach that he's going to do the computer work and he's going to recruit, and I'll take care of the rest. So he's done a great job. We've had, the last 3 years, we've had some really good teams, and you know, and he's one of the main factors for that. But some of the kids that we've had, Spring Hill College is a very good academic school. Our average ACT to get in is about 24 to 25. It's a little bit on the pricey side when you look at the price tag right away. I think it's $48,000 a year. But they do give good scholarships, discounts, etc., for good academics and things like that. We turn out doctors. I think we've had 2 doctors recently, you know, graduates and get all their stuff, and now actually call them doctors. I'm not sure if I want 1 or 2 of them to work on it. I'm not sure. I know them very well, and some of you guys know who I'm talking about probably. And but those are the kind of kids that the Spring Hill produces. I mean, we produce businessmen, we produce entrepreneurs. We're just not baseball at Spring Hill College. You know, we're a family. It's something to be said when you're a Spring Hill. And I know that sounds funny and this and that, but this group of guys, you know, they have your back. I mean, it's a part of their life. Okay, every year that when we graduate our players, you know, we have that talk at the end, and you always say something like, well, this door closes and then another door is going to open, and I always close by saying, you are a part of our family. And I think that's something that each one of those guys back there holds very dear. And I think it's one of the most important things we do at Spring Hill College. Yes, we won some games, we've lost some games, we've been to some championships, you know, and that's great. We try to win every game we play. But it's not always the bottom line, okay? We want our kids to graduate. I think in the 31 years I've been there, everyone that stayed and played, now you have kids that leave because of money or girlfriends or they want to go to Alabama or Auburn and party or whatever, okay? They just retired of baseball. But everyone who has stayed and played, only 2 have not graduated. Only 2. And I see those guys all the time, and I always say, you coming back to finish? No, coach, no. But that's what I'm most proud of. You know, we've had, Blake is here, and he pitched in the big leagues, you know, for 5-6 years, Blake's time, and Trey was one of our great pitchers at Spring Hill, and he pitched Double-A before he hurt his arm, and he probably would have made it to the big leagues also. You know, and that's great. That's icing on the cake. If those guys can go play pro ball, that's wonderful. All right? But the main thing that we do, I think, is we graduate, we go out, we give service to others. I know these guys have wives and they have families, and I don't know if you've ever been to my field, but there's a sidewalk up on top where sort of there's a wall, there's a sidewalk. And when they come walking down there with their wives and they've got their kids, and that's, to me, that's a great thing. It's just a great thing to see. They give me a big hug, you know, introduce the kids and et cetera. And I'll always ask them, I'll say, did you have fun? Would you do it again? And every one of them says, you bet. You know, so that's what my job is. I give kids opportunities. You know, sometimes we have to give kids second chances and third chances, which is okay. I got a lot of second chances in my life. All right, and that's what we're all here for. All right, it's not all about the wins and losses. Some coaches, if that's all you think about, then you've lost a big part of the game. Okay, play the game right, as Andy and Larry said. Treat the umpires right, although I have argued with a few. Just a couple, maybe once or twice. And, you know, treat everybody the same with respect. You know, respect every opponent. That team may come in and they're 2-15, but don't play down to their level. Play at your level all the time. Okay? Play hard, you know, have fun. I mean, enjoy it. You get 4 years to play in college, and those 4 years fly by. The 31 years I've been at Spring Hill has flown by. When we moved to Mobile, Drew was 4 months old. Okay, and it's just poof, it's gone. And it's so those of you that have children, take advantage of it, man, because they're going to be gone soon. And you know, it's great to see them grow up, great to be successful, but you know, it's there's a lot more things than just baseball. All right, it's a great game. I love it. There's nothing like it. Football's not like it. Basketball's not like it. And I love those sports. But there's something about baseball that keeps bringing you back. Bringing you back too. Okay, you got to have a passion to play it. There's a lot of people that don't like baseball because they call it boring and they call it this. But if you're a coach or you're a player and you're thinking the way you're supposed to be thinking, you're thinking 3 innings ahead, 4 innings ahead. You're thinking about this relief pitcher. You're thinking about this pinch hitter. There's so many things that go in a game that most people don't see. You know, what's that old saying that baseball is like church? A lot of people attend and not many understand. Okay? And that's true. That really is true. To the common person who didn't play or don't coach, you don't realize all the things that go on. And that's why I love it. I had a passion for it when I was little, and I remember, I don't know why I remember this, but I was like 6 years old, and for some reason, I can remember it like it was yesterday. I was playing third base, I don't know why, and some kid hit the ball at me with the bases loaded in the last inning, and I dove and I caught it, and people were picking me up and throwing me around, and you know, we won the game, and I'm like, well, I don't have no idea what we just did. And I caught a ball. Okay, that's what you're supposed to do. You know, but from then on, it just built a passion with me. And if I can give back to the community, and I can give back to these players, and give them an opportunity to get an education and to play baseball, then I've done my job. You know, and I'm very proud of all these guys. Again, you know, I'm going to accept this award tonight. You know, it's got my name on it, but to be honest, all the people that's ever played for me, this is a part of their plaque too. All right, so thank you. Have a great evening, and I appreciate y'all being here.